Hi Susan, this is Anne, and welcome to Anne's Take, my critique of your work that you entered into CP Treasures Volume 9. And you entered 3 pieces. This was one of them. This was another. This is the one that we accepted into CP Hidden Treasures, and then this was a third. And we'll start with this one over here. Let's see, the title of this is Remember When, and it's a big piece, 14 by 20, and it's on pastel matte, but all 3 of your pieces are on pastel matte, depending on what country you're from. Yeah, and anyway, okay, so Remember When. It's a nice nostalgic subject. And the, this one is, it has some problems. I think, you know, I almost want to start with, you know, the ones that we accepted, this one, or it was a close tie between this and this. This one just doesn't have the realism that you have in the rest of your work, and it almost like, it's almost a primitive piece, but I don't think that that's what you were going for. And I think it's because the colors are so bright that they're not very believable. Like, you know, you have this agedness all over, aged specks, rust, you know, but so that sort of indicates that they're really old, and so they're probably not this bright. Or maybe it's how bright they are even though they're in shadow, because mostly I think they're in shadow. At least the grass and the barn tells us that they're in shadow, and that there's light back here, you know, because it's a sunny day. It's actually just kind of confusing, I guess. Really, the light is confusing because it seems like this, to be this bright, would have to be in light. But the grass isn't in light, it's in shadow. There's just not a lot of ways that this light, what's going on, works. So I think that's maybe my main problem with it. But also this isn't all that successful. I love the grain or whatever it is back there that's real well lit, but this shape here compositionally doesn't work. It would be much better if it just continued across, because your eye keeps going back to that hill or trees or whatever it is, but where we're, you know, there's just no reason for our eye to go out in that direction. So yeah, I think that it's, yeah, the idea was good. I do like this, and the barn and the roof is well done. Your greens, the greens of the grass are pretty good, but the other greens are so tough in color pencil. They tend not to look very natural, and you've got oranges and yellows and browns in there, but still they're a little bit bright. You know, basically, if you're using Prismacolor, I basically just, you know, throw grass green out, because Prismacolor grass green is so not natural. But anyway, all right, so enough about that one. The other one we did not accept. This one is a cute thing. It's called Feeding Time. It's 10 by 8. It's pastel matte again, but also besides color pencil, you used pastel pencil. It'd be nice to know where you put that. I just bought some myself, and I would like to know. Anyway, your main character here, the main subject, is just delightfully done. Really nice. He even has some, or she has some personality in that expression. I like the treatment of this roof line. And the wood is nice too. Again, the greens. I think the greens are just so vividly, brightly green that they just need some brown, like some you know, tans or orange tans even to tone them down and make them a little more believable. But also, I have to say something else about the leaves. So you've got like two value groups. You've got mid-tones and you have one, you know, area of light, lighter tone. And then you have the veins. There's no real dark. I mean, the darkest area is right here. So it really only has two value, you know, groups, and you want to have the full range. It's more believable. But I think the main problem with this is that the little baby bird is really bright. Again, we're talking about light. Really bright for where she's situated, for where they're situated, because they're inside this birdhouse, and it's unlikely that the light is hitting it quite so brightly. And so we lose realism. And you know, it's not anything that you really actively think about, I don't think, when you look at a piece. There's just something that says something's off. It's like something in the back of your head says something's off. And so then you slow down, and then I like slow down and look at it and say, what is it that's off? Well, that bird, I mean, I know you want this to be the center of attention, but I think it would have worked much better if at least the breast seems just so bright. At least the breast got toned down, you know, and maybe just had this beak that's poking out the furthest, you know, be brighter. The open mouth, but yeah, but the mom or dad, it could be dad, is beautifully done. Those colors are marvelous. I mean, they're bright, but they should be bright. But the piece that we accepted into Hidden Treasures is this one. So much work. This one is called Homesick. Oh, Homesick. It's on pastel mat. It's 10 by 8, and you also use some pan pastel, probably in the background here. I just think you did a marvelous job. The stitching, I don't know how you did that. Oh, pastel mat, you can put light on top of dark. So I guess that's how you did that, because it would have driven me nuts in, you know, on white paper, like Stonehenge. Yeah, the stitch work is really, really nicely done. So are these holes. The holes work so well. Or like I said, they're stitching too, but you've got like you can feel like it's in leather, because you've got little bits of highlight where the little stitching above the stitching. Sorry, I'm not saying that very well, but and yeah, those are holes. I mean, and then the shadow here, this line right here, the shadow on either side, and then a little bit of highlight in the middle is really well done. And the little guy, the little homesick guy or girl, is very sweet. Nice job with the highlights of the hair. I like this sort of halo effect in the hair is nicely highlighted. I think I think I see what you're doing here with the background, with this being lighter and this being darker, and just kind of giving it a little bit of indication of where the light is coming from. But you know, having a light object on the outer edges of a composition isn't always the smartest thing, because your eye tends to go out. But it is lovely. You've done it in a nice way. And then this back here, this light back here is very nice. But also the straw, it looks like you scratched it out. Maybe not. Maybe you put it on top because it's pastel matte. This is not something I would even try, and I think you've done a really admirable job of getting that to look very straw-like. And just overall, the colors, the composition, having this strong vertical, and then this strong horizontal with this sort of round oval. That's a beautiful composition. And even this doesn't bother me. Like, you might think that that's going to be distracting, but I don't know. It all seems to work. I think you've done a really good, and you've got a wide range of values from light to dark. So I think it's got a lot going for it. Good color, good drawing, good values, good composition, a well done piece. So I'm glad that you entered it, and we're happy to have it in CP Treasures. Thanks, Susan. Bye.